In the last video, I showed you how to make a Skinner blend and then make a cane and then put those together and made like a little checkerboard. And then we talked about you can take those pieces and you can cut them slices and you can use those to cover a piece. So it's right now what I want to talk about is you guys are going to have your tin foil and you're going to be able to make beads and shapes. And so I want to just talk about briefly how we can do that to build our pieces. So I'm going to take a little piece of tin foil, I'm going to fold it up, and I'm going to try and think about a bead shape that I'm interested in. So maybe I'll make like more of a barrel kind of a shape. Okay, a barrel shape here. And then what I can do is I can take this piece and I can cover it with a piece of clay. So I have a little bit of black from when I made these beads over here. So I'm going to take my black clay and condition it, try and warm it up with my hands, make it a little bit more moldable. I'm going to take it and cover my piece with it. You don't want to put too much on, but you do want to be able to cover the tin foil nice even amount. What I do is I kind of roll it in here. I have a nice even shape to my piece. Now what I can do is, let's say I made a log. So this is one of my leftover pieces from my last cane. What I can do is I can take this cane and I can cut some pieces. I can take those pieces and I can put them on my bead. Okay, taking some of these pieces, I'm going to put them all over my black bead. Okay, can adjust these a little bit. I think they're too close together. Some spots. Okay, and now what I can do is I can take those pieces and I'm going to just kind of squish them in there. Can roll this and help it incorporate together, and now make kind of an interesting pattern on this bead that incorporates my cane design into my piece. So now I have this nice bead that kind of has my red, yellow, and orange on it. And now, so that could be one of my beads. And then when I make my pendant, maybe for my pendant, I'm gonna go for more of like a teardrop shape. Again, we're using the tin foil to kind of help to build our core of our pieces so that they're lighter Okay, so I made this nice little teardrop shape. I can take some of my black clay. Or I'm not going to take my black clay. What I'm going to do is I have these pieces from my other, and I'm going to start to put this. This is my cane that I made over here. And so I have a couple of slices. What I can do is I can take some of these slices of clay, I'm going to cover my tin foil. Some of these slices of clay. Okay, I think I'm going to need another piece of my cane. Can blend where those two pieces kind of came together. Okay, I can even take my cane and maybe cut it apart if I don't need all of it. I can fit this here. You see how you can use the cane to then cover up your pendant piece. So now I have a bead and a pendant that have the same theming. So I have my pendant here, that cane. Try and make it a little bit more abstract and organic. I want to try and focus on having that nice shape. I want to make sure there's no aluminum foil sticking out. You see that now I have these two pieces that go together because I use the same cane, I use the same parts on my piece. Okay, and then I can go and I can continue working with this piece. You know, maybe I want to use one of the plungers. I use one of the plungers here, like an extruder. I can choose, a piece that's interesting. Let's see. Maybe I'll use this die right here. How you work that is you take the top off here carefully. You don't want to lose any of the pieces. And take this die, set it in there. Carefully put the top back on. Take my piece of clay. So I'm going to take a little bit of black maybe. Kind of roll it into like a little sausage shape. I'm going to stick it in here. I'm going to take my plunger. I'm going to carefully, that didn't work. I think I need more. So what I just did was I made this long piece that's this nice like ribbon. I could do is if I wanted to, I could take that ribbon and now I can use that and like wrap it around this piece some crazy ways. I'm going to go back up to the top to again incorporate that black with my piece. And then what I can do is I just kind of press this down into my pendant. Now I have this kind of wrapped piece with this that matches here. So I have the black, the red, and the yellow, and the orange kind of all going together. Okay, so this idea of how to use your aluminum foil, make your pieces, talked about how once you have the cane, how to put it on top and use that to help decorate your beads and your pendant. And then again showed you how to use the extruder. One last thing for the extruder is please make sure that you go back in and you remove any clay that's left in here. The way that you can do that, let's go the reverse way. Just try and grab that clay out of there. Just want to make sure we don't leave anything behind. Sure we don't leave any extra scraps and pieces of a color on the inside there. They're gonna mess up someone else's project. So I'm just using the plunger in the other way to make sure I pick up those pieces of black that are inside the extruder so I don't have to mess up anybody else's project. I still see a couple of pieces of black in here that I'm going to go in and try and get out with the plunger, kind of pushing it against the walls to get those pieces off. Okay. And the last thing you could do is you could take a piece of paper towel and probably get that stuff out of there, which I'll get in a second. So I just have a piece of paper towel or tissue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the top, just squish that down to help get the rest of this clay out of the extruder. Okay, we just want to make sure it's nice and clean for the next person so we don't have to leave any, not leaving any residue that could mess up their extrusion. Okay, so you want to make sure it's nice and clean in there. Okay, you're going to put the pieces back together. You're going to take the die out. Put the top back on so it doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to take my piece here, make sure there's no clay on it. And then I'm going to put it back in the container with the rest of the dies.